to another episode of the Provocative Podcast. All right, guys, I have my best friend Areli as our guest today. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably watching us, and Chris is like, right before we started filming, y'all need an energy drink because we're both just kind of like bleh today. But it'll get really good. The podcast is really good. I'm excited because I have a lot of juicy stuff. So before we get into it, I always give you guys a little bit of intro. I didn't do a podcast last week because I got back from Georgia really late on Wednesday. And so it was way too much pressure trying to film an episode for you girls and actually give my full effort. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll make this one a good one. So I'm sorry. I know I was MIA last week, but I had a great time in Georgia. I know I think the previous week I had mentioned to you guys that I was going to go visit my family, and it was so much fun. It's always a good time going to visit them. We kind of disconnect from all social media and just focus on family. And I got to watch my niece Kylie. She is a year and 4 months, and she's walking. She just says hi. She goes hi. And so Chris and I watched her on, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I was exhausted that day, okay? She is actually not a handful, but she's a very active little girl because her babysitter, just gives her, a lot of activities to do. So she's not one of those kids that can just, sit down and watch anything. The only thing she likes is freaking Baby Shark, and it has to be on repeat. So I was like, I'm not doing that to myself. I will blow my no. And I was like, okay, so we just had to play with her the whole day and stuff, but it was so much fun. I love my baby niece. I wish she was here, but overall we had a great time with family, and then we came back and started getting back on routine. So yeah, guys, that was last week. And then I just announced my challenge. It's a 6-week fall challenge that's starting next Monday. I'm actually 2 weeks in. My friend Brittany and Areli are doing it with me too. I mean, Areli's been on a weight loss journey ever since you had Mia.
Yeah.
You officially started a hardcore cut back in when? When did you start working with your coach?
April.
Okay, so I told them, I was like, hey, I'm going to cut. Areli, you're already cutting, but let's, make it harder. She's like, I was like, no cheats. She's like, fuck it, fine. So Brittany and Areli have been kind of, doing it with me. Areli's been having, actually set cardio for quite some time now, but now we're, all really doing the cardio together and everything, and it's been good.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm exhausted.
Yeah, we're all so sore every single day. We're like, oh my God, I'm so sore. But it's been great. So if you want to join the challenge, guys, it's next Monday. I'm taking signups for the rest of the week. And then, Sunday night, I'm going to close enrollment. There is a prize for the first place winner, which is $1,000. It's not just whoever loses the most weight. It's whoever has the best transformation as far as overall, who actually did what they were supposed to, who checked in on time, who communicated with me. It's not a race to who lost the most weight, because I understand that not everyone loses weight at the same rate, but I want the first place winner to feel like they deserved it and they earned it. So first place winner will receive $1,000. And Brittany's like, so can I be a winner? I was like, nah, girlfriend. She's like, fine, whatever. But it starts next Monday, girls, and I'm really excited. Especially I just talked about it on my story. If you feel like you have not committed to yourself this year, the year's about to end. We're already in October, freaking October. This is a time to invest in you, to really focus on yourself. It's just 6 weeks, and really just make yourself your priority these next 6 weeks. So I highly encourage you to take on this challenge. And like I said, I'll be doing it with you girls too. So I'm on a cut. I'll be doing cardio. I'll be, on the Stairmaster dying with you girls. So it'll be fun. It's always more fun when other people are suffering with you.
Yesterday, whenever we were doing the Stairmaster, and I was like, oh my God, donuts sound so good right now.
Dude, we were talking about hoodies. Brittany's like, I can't. So it's all three of us on the Stairmaster, and Brittany's like, I don't really sweat. And I'm like, well, in the morning. She's like, I don't really sweat in the morning when I do fasted cardio. And I'm like, well, wear a hoodie. Out of nowhere, Areli's in the middle Stairmaster. She's like, I could go for some donuts. I'm like, can we not talk about food right now? That's the worst thing you can do when you're on a cut.
No, it's because you said for her to wear a hoodie for her to do cardio, and so she could sweat more. And then she was like, oh, it's because then I get all glazed. And then I'm like, Glazed donuts sound so good right now. And they still sound good right now.
Yeah, dude, girl.
Oh, gosh.
Stop. Everything. Yesterday on the way home, I didn't say anything. I was like, honestly, yesterday was the first day, like, I actually craved something. Because I've been it'll be 3 weeks that I've been dieting, no cheats, guys. So, like, absolutely no cheats. And I was like sitting in the car, and we took Art and Britt home yesterday, and I'm just like quiet. And Chris is like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And to drop them off, we have to pass by In-N-Out, and I was like, "Oh man, I could really go for In-N-Out." And I didn't say anything, and Chris is like, "In-N-Out sounds good." I'm like, no, you cannot fucking get In-N-Out. I've been craving it like the whole car ride. I just didn't say anything. I'm like, no.
I already see you like, no.
No, he already had wings last week. I'm like, no. There's a few things on my list that I'm like, you can't have until I'm done with my cut. So,
that sounds so good.
Wings,
my mouth's already dry.
Pluckers.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
the fried
Pluckers.
pickles.
I know.
No. She's not sponsored by
It's sponsored. But yeah, so now that we're talking about the challenge, I kind of wanted to go over your accomplishment a little bit. So Mia is about to be October 29th.
Yes.
All right. So Areli started her like serious weight loss journey in April, you said, right? Of this year?
Is that whenever the pool party was?
In April?
When was it?
The pool party?
Summer Shorty, when was it?
January, March, April, May.
Then no. It must have been later.
June.
Then I started in July.
Started in July?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know why I said April.
Okay.
Maybe I thought about it since April,
Yeah.
but I didn't start till. I think it started till like late June.
Yeah.
Because it was after my birthday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was.
Yeah.
It was after your birthday?
I started the week of summer shredding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you had, that's when you started, like, Areli started her, like, serious, like, she's like, okay, I'm gonna really be serious. Yeah. Because after me, I think you were in the gym, like what? Your doctor cleared you at
6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then right there I started.
She started back up, and do you remember how it was for you when you started back up?
Oh my God. I felt like everything was open.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like when I would squat, like I felt like all my organs were just gonna come through. Like I felt so open. I don't know. It's this Mexican myth, right? Like that whenever you give birth, my mom was saying that you're open everywhere. So like you can't even go outside after you give birth. You have to wait literally the whole 6 weeks. You're supposed to stay inside, and because if the air even hits you, it goes through like.
I remember you telling me that.
All this, like, I don't know, like, right, whatever. So, like, in my head, I guess I was just thinking that. And then, like, now I heard a little bit. And she's like, you see it's because you started going out before 6 weeks. Like, that's what she's telling me, that I'm all messed up. But it felt weird. And I also felt very weak because I hadn't worked out. I think I stopped working out whenever I was, I think, like, even before. I think I was, like, 5 months pregnant. And I stopped working out really soon because I started hurting a little. So I got scared. So yeah, I felt very behind, but honestly, it made me want to get back to it more.
Yeah, because I remember you got really sick during your pregnancy, like 4 or 5 months. Yeah, she was like really sick, and so she would come to the gym and just sit with us, which is nice because we would be able to catch up. But yeah, then you came back, and I remember when you came back, you're like, especially when we were doing hip thrusts, you're like, dude, I feel like everything's just gonna come out. I'm like, don't just go light. And she started out light, and this is like, girls, because I actually did get a question, like, getting back into it after you have a baby, it's gonna take some time for you to feel like your old self, for sure.
1,000%.
And I feel like, you started coming back to the gym, but you weren't like 100% with dieting and everything. It takes some time for you to get back into, like, I guess, the groove of everything, right?
And I wouldn't want to, I mean, if anything, like, if I can give any advice about going back into the gym after having a baby, is don't go in hardcore, because you're still trying to build up a routine. You're still trying to manage all your new schedule with the baby, if you're a wife or if you're not, if you live with your boyfriend or your husband, you're still trying to develop that routine. So if you put too much on your plate, you're not saying that you're going to fail, but it's going to be very overwhelming, and then you're just going to give up. And then after you give up, you're obviously going to get into your head and say that you can't do it and that you're not good enough. So I would definitely just go in slow, either start eating right or start going back into the gym and just start light until you just build your strength back up. But I wouldn't go in right away. Yeah.
Your strength now is crazy though, girls. Her strength now is like way crazier than before. Her quads are like way crazier than before. And then, was it yesterday? Yesterday, she texted me that she is pre-baby weight now, guys. So
my pre-baby weight was 138, and I'm finally 138 yesterday. I woke up, I mean, obviously fasted, but it was at 138.2.
Woo!
And so I was so proud of myself. I texted my husband. I was just like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. And then I texted Jazzy of like a screenshot of the scale. And I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. Like it's a goal that you set in your head, and then you never, I mean, you know you're going to accomplish it, but you just don't know when. But the fact that it's here just proves to me that I'm actually able to do it. And I was telling Jazzy yesterday that even before I had Mia, I didn't know. I mean, you obviously always talk about like how fitness and like health is a lifestyle, but I didn't think I honestly grasped it until now after I got my coach and I started eating, and now that I got to my weight, now I know what it truly means that it's a lifestyle, because I don't see myself going back to the way that I ever was before with eating, with anything, because I'm seeing results, because I'm being dedicated, and I know that I want this life. I don't think I could ever go back to how
yeah, and I think you've realized that you can have it, like, you can balance it all, right? And I think before, Areli did have some bad habits. Dude, she'd have, like, breakfast, hot Cheetos. Lunch, hot Cheetos. Dinner, hot Cheetos. She'd come to the gym, she's like, my stomach hurts. What did you just eat? Popeyes. I'm like...
Or sometimes I didn't even have to say it because my fingers were red.
Oh, yeah, because, like... Areli, let me see your fingers. We get to the gym and she'd be like, yes, I had hot Cheetos today.
I'm like, I had a little bit, but okay, I had a lot.
But now, like, you have this lifestyle, and I think if I've seen the changes that you've made and everything. She's like the representation of, like, it's not about how fast you get there, right? Like, your journey is going to have some highs, going to have some lows, but the important thing is that you stay consistent, right? Like, she's not a competitor. She didn't go 0 to 100. She just focused on doing her best every single day. And some days she did her cardio, some days she didn't. But the important thing is, like, she stayed consistent, right? Even if she didn't go to the gym all 5 days a week, at least she did 3 or 4, right? And she didn't give up. I think a lot of the times, like, I think you were saying, women get overwhelmed and they think they have to be at 100% when that's not true. You know, it's just about being consistent, because consistency will give you results. Look at you now.
I know. And I didn't think I could get here.
I knew you could get here, but...
I not that I didn't know, I just knew that it was going to be hard. But the fact that I'm here now, I'm really happy and I'm really proud of myself. And it just shows me that I can do a lot more if I really tried.
Yeah. Well, now, girlfriend, we had an hour cardio, so.
I know. Oh my God. Yesterday, like literally the last 5 minutes, I couldn't. Like, that's when I started having delusions. I started thinking about food. That's all I could think about the whole time. My mouth started getting dry, even though I just had a bunch of, like, a whole gallon of water. I was parched. My legs were hurting. I was telling Jazzy that I just didn't think I'd keep going anymore. But it's fine, because we're suffering together.
You're suffering together, and we did it. And our workouts have been really hard recently. But it's a good thing. We're all progressing. We're all getting stronger in our lifts. And like I said...
You are. You definitely are. Yesterday,
I was having a shitty day, guys.
Like a horrible day.
I've been losing all my shit, and that's so not like me. I've been leaving my stuff everywhere. I left my wallet at my tanning place. I lost my community center, like, key tag.
You got there and you had lost your belt.
I lost my belt. Thankfully, Andrew saved it for me, because I was like, oh no, this bitch stolen. Like,
yeah, that wasn't if he didn't grab it, it was gonna be stolen.
Yeah, and so I was just not having the best day. But hey, I PR'd in the fucking shoulder press, and I was really happy that, like, 100% turned my day around. So anyways, all right, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of the fitness behind the scenes and, like, what it's like. Me and Areli train together every single day except for our rest days, and I just wanted to share her story because she's been killing it, and I'm really proud of my friend. I love you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
She helps me out a lot, guys, okay? If Jazzy didn't go every single day to the gym, I probably wouldn't go. And she pushes me to...
I do push you.
Yeah, you push me a lot.
But you push me a lot too. Yeah. It's great when you have... Don't get me wrong, we joke around and things like that, but when it's time to fucking do the work, we push each other, like, a lot. And even, like, the other day on hip thrusts, because it's more often than not, I'm the one that's, like, okay, pushing everyone, right? Like, oh no, add the weight, whatever. And Areli, on Monday, she looked at me and she's like, have you done this weight before for hip thrusts? I'm like, no. I was like, yeah, but I only did it for this many reps. She's like, I think you should add some weight. And I'm like, I looked at her and I'm like, you think? She's like, I think you got it. And I'm like, all right, fuck. All right, I'll put it on. And I fucking did it.
And she moved it so easy. Like she PR'd.
Yeah.
I was so proud because you're strong. Like I'm strong, but you're strong as me too. But I feel like you're just getting in your head.
Yeah, sometimes I just get in my head. It just depends on what the movement is too, you know? Like, if I'm just, like, not feeling it that day, like, where it needs to be felt, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go super heavy because then I feel like, you know, it just takes away from that muscle.
Yeah.
But
you did it.
Yeah. Make sure you have, if you are going to the gym, like, you have a partner that pushes you because that's super duper important. Because with girls, sometimes it can get easy to just find someone that's going to go and then just chat your ear off, and then you're not there working out, right? You want to have a friend that, yeah, you can catch up, but also pushes you when it's time to be pushed. But anyways, all right, so today's episode is Girl Talk. I'm so excited for this episode because I've been wanting to film one, and I can't really film one with Chris and by myself.
Why not? He could dress... No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Dress him up? Oh my God, with a wig and put lipstick on. Dude, he could probably do his whole makeup routine for how many times he's watched me do makeup. But oh my gosh, I'm gonna have an episode like that and get him to talk all funny. Yeah. Okay. All right. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, because we had a recent conversation with someone we know, and then I was telling you a little bit about, like, you know, my sister a little bit, and how it reminds me of us when we were younger. Okay, so Areli, she's been on the podcast before. If you didn't listen to one, she was one of the first ones on the podcast. So she's been married for how many years now?
I think we're going to 14 years.
14 years. So she's been with, like, basically her high school sweetheart too. So we've both been in long relationships. We're both married. So talking to these girls just took us back to how we were back in the day when we were 15, 16.
Oh my goodness.
And if I can say anything, it's just like, I wish someone would have been there to slap the fuck out of me.
Oh my God, same here.
Because, I mean, I know things have changed a lot now, especially social media. Thankfully, you and I didn't have to grow up with, like, I grew up with Instagram, but Instagram had just barely started. That was
Same.
it.
Yeah, it was still Facebook, and Instagram was still new.
Oh, MySpace too, you know. When
oh my God, yeah. MySpace and then Facebook, and then, you know, it just replaces
Instagram,
it.
Yeah, a little bit. But we didn't have to deal with as much of social media drama as a lot of younger kids are dealing with it. But I don't know, just the conversations that we've had with these younger girls, it's like you get a relationship at such a young age, and you're so young that you still haven't even had time to figure out who you are, right? Because you don't know what you want, you don't know what your career is, you don't really have, especially if you don't have any goals. I think one of the biggest things for a female, if I had a daughter too, is like I would want her to be in a sport or something like that, like some sort of extracurriculum thing that she has to go to, because that way it could be like an outlet for her. I thankfully had a cross country, but it wasn't because of my own will. It was because I met Chris and then I got into cross country. But I think a lot of the times young women, they lose themselves because they don't have anything that they're focused on, right? They don't really have a hobby or a sport or anything like that. So if they get a boyfriend, all their attention and all their priority goes to that boy. And I will say boy because he's a boy.
Yeah,
right? At that
boys.
age, they're boys.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're in that age. You're like, okay, I need to revolve my whole life around this boy. And slowly you start losing yourself because your whole identity is this boy. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I wish, like, when I'm talking to these girls, I mean, Areli and I were giving advice the other day, and we're like, slap out of it. Like, you need to prioritize yourself because it's so important to prioritize yourself, especially, and even nowadays in your relationships, because the moment you stop prioritizing yourself and you start giving your all to someone else is the moment you lose yourself.
I think it becomes a habit. I feel like it's very, I mean, everybody has a story, but I feel like whenever you're young, you watch Cinderella, you watch all these princesses, how they find their Prince Charming, and you feel like your life's going to be, well, not that your life is going to be, but you want your life to be that way. And also, like, you have to take into consideration, like, daddy issues. Do you have daddy issues? Do you not have daddy issues? Because I feel like a lot of the girls that do depend a lot on their boyfriends and they kind of, like, start to just focus on them and they lose themselves is because they want that male attention that they wish that they had from their dad. So it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Like Like basically you're not that close to your dad, or you didn't have a dad or whatever, and you project on them what you would want. So you start focusing on them. You start, wanting to be everything to them as well. You try to cater them because you want to feel worthy of their love. So you start, like you said, like start losing your identity because you start becoming what they want you to be.
Right.
And you just do that slowly, and then by the time that you guys start having issues or like a breakup comes up, you think that your life is completely over.
Right. And I think daddy issues is one of them. I was going to say, like, it's all, especially with the book I'm reading, it's all based on your upbringing, right? What you saw. Like, I saw, my parents had been married. They're still married, right? So my mom always was like, okay, like, you're going to have a boyfriend, you're going to be a virgin until you get married. And like, she had this whole story, like how things are traditional way things were supposed to be, right? And then I guess I saw how their marriage was and I was like, well, I don't know if I want that, right? Because my parents don't have the best communication, like emotional relationships. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I want that. And growing up in that, I was like, I don't know. This is not the I don't think this is the way that I want to be. So it could be like your daddy issues, the upbringing. I also had daddy issues. I was actually just telling Chris too that I think if you have a daughter, the best thing that you could tell your significant other to do is to be involved in their life, like fully. And I tell Chris, one of the things that I wish that I would have had growing up was like, and it's just something that it's not really common in Hispanics, is like, I wish we would have had actual family nights, like game nights, where my parents really didn't give a shit about what they wanted, but they were like, okay, what do you girls want to do? And let's go do it. That I'll take you to the movies and then go grab a milkshake, or like what you see on TV. Yeah. Because to be honest, we didn't have that growing up, like at all. Like we were with our families where they wanted us, right? Which in a lot of the cases, Hispanic families, it's just parties. Yeah. And what are you doing? What are your parents doing at a party? Are they actually even spending time with you? No. You go off with your cousins, the ladies go and gossip, and the dads are standing up drinking. That's it. Yeah. That's your weekend with your that's weekend time with your family. Yeah. So you don't really get a chance to really bond with your dad, and Hispanics aren't, old traditional Hispanics aren't really into sports and things like that. So it's not like, okay, yeah, like my dad put me in dance and he went to all my recital. Like, you don't really fucking hear about that shit in Hispanic culture. So it's like, it's all about the way that you were raised and things like that. That do affect who you are if you have daddy issues, and also self-esteem issues. Because what is the number one thing a lot of teenage girls suffer with is self-esteem issues. Yeah. They all lack confidence. And that could be from what they see, or just, high school is a fucking bitch, like.
Especially nowadays.
It's gotten
so worse. Yeah. Because of social media.
Because of social media. Yeah. And so it's really hard. I know it's really hard to, as a teenager, you think you know it all, right? You think like no one fucking understands what you're going through. And it's like the end of the fucking world. But it's like, it's not. Like, if I could tell anyone, and if I were to go back, it'd be like, focus on yourself more. Like, do some personal like development growth within yourself.
Like, sit down and like know what you want.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily what you want, but like, what do you like to do? Do you like to like just sit with yourself and be like, what do I like to do? That's outside of my boyfriend, that's outside of my family. What do I like to do? And do more of that. Yeah. And that's like, what I told the person we were talking about the other day. I'm like, find out what you like and do more of it. Because the more fulfilled you are, the more confident you become, and the better things you attract, and then the better guys you attract. Because then the guy flips around and is like, oh shit, like she doesn't really have, like, she's so busy with her time. Like, I'm lucky to be in her presence. I'm lucky that she makes time for me. Versus, nah, this girl's just right here. I can use her. I can call her up in a second and she'll be here, right? Yeah. And so I know growing up I was like that. Cause be like, hey, come here. I'd be like, okay.
You already there?
I'm on my way. I was waiting for that text.
He's like, hey, can you come over? I'm outside.
Literally. That's all about maturing and growing up and just, going through life and going through hardships and learning.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks because you do have to go through it on your own.
Yeah,
That's the best way that you'll learn from your mistakes. Someone can tell you over and over again, but as a teenager, you're like, oh, what do you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, he would never do that to me.
Yeah.
No, we're going to be together forever. No. I mean, in our case, it's a little different, but I mean, it didn't come easy either.
Yeah.
It was hard. I mean, you have to choose each other every single time. And as you grow up, you're growing up together. So you grow up wanting something else. They want something else, and then you just have to come together and make sure that you want the same thing at the end. At least, you know,
that's how it works.
It's really important. But whenever you're young, it's really hard, and you feel like them breaking up with you is the end of the world, and you're never gonna find anybody else like them. And
yeah, it's just like I know. I'm just talking. I'm like, I promise you're gonna be okay. And I know our audience is like an older crowd, but if you have, this is like I just want you to listen. Like if you're listening, if you have a younger sister, a younger cousin, check up on them, make them listen to this part
Podcast,
of the episode, and be like, you are going to be okay. And just check up on them. Like I try to check up on them, especially with my sister. I know like there's certain things that she doesn't want to share with me, which I get because I'm her older sister and stuff, but I just make sure that she's doing okay because that's all I can, at that, at that age, like you said, you think you know it all and you're like, no one understands what I'm going through. But, I've been there. I've done that. So it's like, I just, as long as you're there for them and you make it known, like, hey, I'm here for you if you need me. And if you're going through a breakup, like, take them out and don't judge them. I think that's one of the things, like, with teenagers, too. They end up closing out because you tend to judge them. Just listen to them, I think, more than anything.
Like if you're going through a breakup specifically, whether you're a teenager or whether you're an adult now, if you're going through a breakup, you just literally have to sit down and just breathe. And like I told who we were talking about at the time, I'm just like, you know what? Like just write down how they made you better and how they didn't make you so, like, not your best. And then just kind of analyze the situation. I know that we're emotional beings as women, but if you really just think about it logically, it's just, tomorrow, 30 days from now, 3 months from now, do you think that you're still going to be sad? Or do you think that, I don't know.
I remember what you said was really good and came to mind right now when you were like, you need to stop asking yourself, does he want to be with me? And start asking, do you want to be with him?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good question because sometimes we forget. So it's like what you were saying, like writing out a list of the pros about the relationship, the cons about the relationship, or the, of everything you're going through and see, okay, like, am I actually happy in this? Could I, not that you're doing better with someone else, but could I do better on my own?
Yeah.
Is it time for me to focus on my own?
Yeah.
And because I think the more you ask yourself, am I worthy of someone? The less you feel, like the more shitty you feel about yourself, the less worth you have. You need to ask yourself, are they worthy of me?
Yeah.
Right? And having that flip in the switch or whatever, that switch in the mindset will help you overall, just in confidence in general, because I think a lot of the times with females, like we were talking about, we're so nurturing and we want to give and we forget that it's like, it's not just about them. It's not about the other person. It's about us and how we're feeling, you know? But just a little bit of advice for the younger crowd.
Because and if you have a daughter, like you said, make sure that whether you're with your husband or your baby daddy or you're not, just make sure that they have a really good relationship, because that's what I tell my husband all the time. I really want him and Mia to have such a strong bond, such a strong relationship where he fulfills that side of her that wants it to be like a fairy tale, like a Cinderella story. He brings her flowers, they go out and have dinner together, where she has that male presence in her life that she doesn't need to go look for it in a boy. Right. And if she were to find a boy, that's completely fine, but she knows that she doesn't need him. Yeah. Because she has her dad up until she doesn't need Eduardo anymore. Yeah. And that's fine.
I give Eduardo a fucking hard time.
Oh my god,
I love Eduardo. I love it. Her husband, I love him. He's literally like my brother, but we give each other a fucking hard time all the time. All right, next one. So, me and Areli were talking about this, and it made me think about a few things. So we're gonna talk about our significant others masturbating right now, okay? And so the issue that we have, or that we talked about, was that it's not necessarily that they do it.
No.
Right? Because we get it. It's, when the fuck do you have the time to fucking do it?
Girl, literally, I remember when I told Jazzy, I was like, oh my God, I need to tell you something. And like, we're just walking, we go get something from her car, and I'm like, dude, I'm fucking pissed. And she's like, why? What happened? And I'm like, bro, last night, I was I was communicating with like, I was doing some business stuff and I had to borrow, obviously, my husband's phone. And then I was like, you know what? I exit out of the app. So then I go up and I do app search. And then I see...
Like the recent ones.
And then I see an app. And obviously I click on it. And I'm like, why is he using this fucking app? So then I click on it. I click on the search history just to see what this app is about. And then obviously I see a bunch of shit that he's been looking up. I mean, obviously tastes that he likes, which is fine. Like I don't tell him that he can't, like whatever, to each their own. It doesn't matter. But I'm like thinking, it's like probably 1 a.m. And I'm like this, obviously I'm laying down and I'm like grab the phone. I go like this and I'm like, when the fuck does this motherfucker have time to fucking masturbate? I'm like thinking, is it when he fucking goes to the restroom for 2 fucking hours and I'm over there trying to feed Mia, trying to calm her down because she wants to stand up and I want her to sit down. So while I'm over here taking care of our daughter and I'm over here like having a mental breakdown with trying to do it, he's over there jacking off to a big booty Latina. Yeah. And I'm over here in the freaking I'm like, oh,
you haven't even had time to do your hair and you're like, what the fuck?
Like half like this and half like this and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm just like, what the fuck?
Dude, and if you know, okay, so I thought I was gonna fucking listen to this shit, he'd be like,
and I haven't even told him, by the way. He doesn't even know that I know. Oh, and let me just finish with proceeding. I was so mad that I grabbed the phone and I threw it at his ass, and he was asleep. He was asleep, and I turned around, and I'm just laying on my side, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, what? And he's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, charge your phone. And he's like, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, I'm going to bed. Like the whole time. And he's half asleep with crust in his eyes. Like,
dude, that's the thing about Areli and me that are different. Like, she's the type that, because I asked her, I was like, have you talked to him about it? Are you going to say anything? She's like, nah, fuck that. I'm like, hell no. My ass would have been like pulling on his hair, like, wake the fuck up. Like, I think it's somebody, so she was telling me that I was cracking up. Okay, and the thing is, like, what I'm about to say about Eduardo is one of those dudes, like, that 80% or 90% of dudes are, that take a fucking long ass time in the bathroom. God. Like, they just take a shitload of, he just takes a long ass time in the bathroom. So I told her, I'm like, do you think maybe it's like when he's taking his shit, like, he just says that he's taking his shit, but he just like, jacks one off and then takes his shit? Like, that's his like routine when he gets home.
But bro, like, I hear him go, ugh. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think so. Unless, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Okay, it's just I don't know when he does it. I'm not going to ask. If he doesn't listen to this podcast, then that's on him. I'm not going to ask. Yeah. More of the thing is just like I'm over here struggling.
Yeah.
Eduardo goes to work and then he comes home and I don't really try to bother him. But now I'm gonna fucking bother him. Yeah. I'm like, you like,
hey, it's been 20 minutes. Come on, hurry up. I need you to
Yeah, like I'm just. It's more of the when do you have the time? Because I don't have the fucking time.
Yeah.
I want to have time, but I don't.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, because for me, like, when Chris apparently hasn't masturbated in a while, and I don't mean like Chris.
Why are you pointing?
No, I'm just kidding. He hasn't masturbated in a while, right? But when Chris is a very sexual being. Like I've told you guys before on the podcast, like he is one of those dudes that we have sex a lot, like more than average people. So it's like when when I find out that he's still masturbating, I'm like, what the fuck? It just makes me feel like, and I don't know, like I'm out there doing my lashes, like when the fuck do you have the time? Well, when like you're out there doing your lashes, like, and I just like, I'm bored. I'm like,
that's exactly how he sounds like.
I'm like bored. Or like when you're getting your nails done, I'm like, I'm just bored. And I'm like,
why do you sound like a Beach Boy? Chris does not sound
I don't know. He's like, I'm just bored. It's like, okay, you know what would feel nice right now? Just like busting a nut. And I'm like, dude, I don't think I've ever, and I was thinking about this earlier, I don't think I've ever been at home by myself and been like, you know what would feel real nice right now? Just come in right now. Just like letting one loose. Do you like the amount of time that it would take me to pull out my toy, find the right fucking porn video, because I don't have, guys can search big booty Latina or big whatever and it's quick. They'll find something. I gotta like, do you,
or certain females.
Or I have to, like, there's not, like, I'm not one of those girls that, like, finds any one dude, like, super attractive. Like,
No,
I can't even think about someone like that. So, like, I would have to find the perfect video. I need to look at the storyline. Do I like the storyline? Is it getting me going? Sometimes I have to look for 5 damn stupid videos.
But you know what's so fucking annoying, too? You know how we were at my house and we were talking about what our types would be if we weren't with each other?
Yeah.
How Chris and Eduardo can just really just do anything.
Oh.
They don't have, like, a certain...
Oh, like a certain type?
A certain type, so that's why it's easy for them to also find
something. No, that's
something.
true. Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, like, it's literally, like...
They're so easy.
With girls, it's not like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would take me a good 30 minutes to just set up. To just set up the fucking mood. Because it's still in my head, I'm like, I could be doing the laundry. I need to be doing this.
Dude, yeah, you think ahead. Yeah.
I'm like, if you are a female that does, like, this, like... Because I was trying to think, I'm like, is there women who are married, right? Like me and you, who masturbate, who have sex with their significant other and enjoy having sex with their significant other, but still masturbate. And if there are, please message me and tell me how you do it. Like, where do you find the time? Because I don't have the time. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I have the time to do it.
I just don't understand.
I don't. And the issue that we were talking about, and I'm sure that's the issue with a lot of, I mean, some girls just don't like their significant other masturbating. It's like it's almost like, it might be a little bit of, like, envy, that it's like, you have the time and you have the fucking, like, you have not only the time, but you're able to do it so fast. It's like, it's kind of like, sometimes I'm, like, just mad about it. Yeah. I'm mad that he's able to, like, I'm just like.
And I think that's what I'm also mad about. I'm just mad. I'm just mad. But I mean, I guess I let out a little bit whenever I threw I let out a little. That's why I don't think I talked to him about it, because it felt really good to throw the phone at him.
I think my thing is, like, with Chris is like, can you let me know that you are doing it, because then I can do it.
Girl, no. I'm just like, you could do whatever you want. The thing for me is mostly the time. I'm not like that with Eduardo. Like, I used to be. I think I grew out of that, like, I mean, obviously we've had our ups and downs, but I mean, I think I just don't really care about it, because you know, something that I do remember is something that you told me that Chris told you, which was that, you know, sometimes it's not that they don't want to all the time to nut. They don't want to, but sometimes they just need to. Like, it's something that they need to do. So in my head, I'm like, you know, I mean, I'm married and I have a baby. So obviously sometimes we don't have the time to, like, you know, he gets home tired, we go to the gym, we come home, he takes a shower. By the time that he's in bed, I'm already asleep. So sometimes we don't find the time all the time. So I think maybe that's why I don't care. But even before Mia came around, I didn't really care. Yeah. But it's more of where do you find the time? Because the time that you're taking, regardless if it's fast or not, is some time that you could help me whenever you get home. And I can just focus a little bit on myself, or like maybe just get something done really fast, like put the laundry in there without having to, like, put Mia down or whatever. And that way she can always have his presence around, because he's mostly gone all day. And then he goes to the gym and then he comes home. So he only has a little bit of time. So that's why. That's what you're mad.
I was like, oh my God, what did this guy do? What did Eduardo do? And then I was cracking up, dude. I was like, I threw the phone at him. I was like, oh my God, you're such a...
And granted, it's the second time I do it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to get you a shirt that says, like, I throw phones or some shit.
I was like caution, I throw phones everywhere.
Anyways, okay. So next thing that girls wanted to know was birth control. Are you on birth control right now?
I'm not on birth control.
Yeah, I'm anti-birth control.
I'm anti-birth control after my psychotic episode.
Yeah, what? Which one?
Well, I wasn't psychotic.
Oh, I was like, what?
Like, I felt like I was getting there, though. I was just, I would never do that. No. Like, it was a time, it's not a dark time, but I was very emotional. Me and Dora were having a lot of issues because of the way that I was being, so I just
birth control is just fucking, dude. I mean, you know, recently I wasn't on birth control, but you guys know I was working with, or I am working with Transcend, and they put me on progesterone, and that is like a type of birth control. And she was like, "You're not yourself." Like, Areli was the first one that pointed out. She's like, "You are not okay, Jasmine. Like, you're not the same Jasmine like that you've been before. Like, you need to get the fuck off of that." And I was like, "Okay, just give me like till the end of the month." Like, I was like pushing it because I didn't want to just quit it. But then I just got to one day where I was like, literally like that. I had like an episode and I was like, fuck this shit, I'm not taking it anymore. And then literally within like a week or two, I felt so much better.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like it you're putting something that doesn't go in your body, and to each their own. People like to, I mean, they also say you have to find the right birth control for you, but I feel like all the hormones that you're putting in your system to inhibit the ones that are in your system, I feel like it honestly doesn't, you're not yourself and you don't notice it. And like you were like more, I feel like you were getting like really depressed.
Yeah.
And like you're in your head a lot, and it's really hard to see the brighter days. It's really, really hard for you to be positive because your mental state is just like, imagine like you're doing this all the time in your brain, but you don't notice it, and you're trying to figure it out, and you just can't unless somebody tells you.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, to each their own. Like, I have friends who have been with control for years and it's worked great. If it works great and you find the right one for you, great. But from our experiences, like, I'm one of those people, like, if I, thankfully we haven't gotten pregnant, knock on wood. But if I knew, like, okay, Chris is very fertile or I'm very fertile, and we absolutely were like, okay, we don't ever want kids, like, this is why we want birth control, whatever, like, I would just get him to get a vasectomy or something. Like, if I was that worried about it, right? I'm just at that, like, that's what I believe in, than putting stuff in my body, just because, I don't know, like, it's just what I've done the fucking NuvaRing, I've done the pills, I've done the what is the little vagina insert, Kybella, whatever. I did
Nexplanon, which is the implant that you put on your arm.
Yeah.
So I did it on the left, it was fine. I was on it for like 3 years, and then I put it on my right hand, and I don't know what the fuck happened. When I transferred it to my right, I was depressed. Like, I wouldn't come out of my room.
Damn.
Like, I would cry for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It was really bad. I don't know what happened.
I wonder what the difference in the arm. Did you ever ask?
Well, whenever I was in U of H, we did a study where, like, it's different. Like, I guess where you would think it would be the same, but it's not.
But it's
not at all. Okay. Like, it affects your body completely different.
Damn,
which is crazy.
Weird. Yeah.
But yeah, so I did the Nexplanon. I mean, I had a positive experience for the first 3 years, and then the next year I took it off. Yeah. I couldn't handle it anymore.
I just think do what's best for you, and I feel like don't let your doctor push you into it, because I had all my doctors that wanted me on birth control push shit on me. Okay, and I get the reasoning, but like, do what's best for you. I was just like, you know what, fuck this, no, like, I'm not doing it. Like, you're the one that can control your body, not anyone else. And like, you're the one that's having to go through the depression episodes, the weight gain, the fucking like water
retainment, a bunch of water.
Yeah, like you're the one dealing with it, not them, not anyone else, and no one.
Don't do it for your partner.
Yeah,
don't do it for your partner. If you can't handle it, and if you have a really bad reaction to it, be off of it, and they're just gonna have to figure it out. Yeah, because it's your health over everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just and thankfully, like, I don't know, and our friend group and everyone we were around, we were around like very supportive women. So I would hope that no one in your like friend group is trying to make you feel some sort of way or type of way, or feel bad about not being on birth control. You got to do what's best for you, because you're the only one looking out for yourself. You are the only one that knows what you're going through, and birth control might not be for you. And like, it might, you might have to try different ones if you're trying to go through that route. I just didn't want to go through that route of trying to find the right one, go through all these months of just like ups and downs. I just didn't want to go through that. So I'm not on it. She's not on it. And that's our advice on it.
Yeah.
All right. Being into someone who is not available. What is your take on that?
Okay, girl. Why is he not available? Because, I mean, if he's married, if he has a girlfriend, why are you into them?
Yeah.
If they're not available because they're in a different path in their life and they're trying to focus on themselves and they're not emotionally available, then okay. But if I think this question is more because they're not available.
Yeah,
they're
because
married or with somebody. They would be available if they wanted to be with you.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Because, what else would be a reason? I think everything else would be just an excuse.
Yeah. I just think, like you said, even emotionally or whatever available, like, don't put yourself through that. If someone is not available, whether it's because they're married or not available emotionally, like, why the fuck are you that is the number one self-sabotage thing you could do for yourself.
Yes.
Why? It's already going to end up being a disaster. And I understand there's like a thrill to it. There's this challenge, right? You're like, oh my God, he's married, but he does low-key want to be with me. No. If he wants to be with you, he's going to be with you. And if he's cheating on his wife, honey, he's going to cheat on you.
You too.
He's going to keep on cheating on his wife. He is not leaving that wife, okay?
No,
he hasn't before, and he's not going to do it with you.
Nope.
So,
and if he does leave her, it's because she left him first. So they won't do it. Men, I feel like immature men, they get bored very easily. Or they probably, depending on whatever they're going through their life, they get bored. They think that they're just going to find something exciting out there, which is the 80-20 rule that we talked about last time. So, you know, your wife has 80% of what you have, but you're missing that 20%, and you're willing to sabotage that 20% to just go find it somewhere else, but that person doesn't have the 80. So that's why you stay with your wife. And then you keep your 20 around because she wants to stay around. So my advice as far as trying to get with a man or trying to wait on a man that's not emotionally available is, one, you're wasting your time. Two, if he hasn't already left his significant other, he won't, because he knows that you're waiting for them. Right. So then they get comfortable that you're always going to be around. Three, I feel like it's really bad for your self-esteem, because eventually you're just not going to think that you're good enough.
Right. You're always number two.
You're always number two. You're always going to feel second. And he will always treat you like you're second, whether you think that that's happening or not.
Yeah.
Because he's still with his wife. He still goes home to her at the end of the night, or his girlfriend. He still texts them. He still messages them. Regardless, you're always on his second. You're
on his list.
You're on second on his list.
It's like what you said. Like, you may think that, oh, his attention's on me, but he's still texting the wife. He's still
checking in on her.
Yeah, like he's still there. And so we're just saying that in that case, if they're married.
If they're married or have a girlfriend.
Or have a girlfriend. Like, even if they have a girlfriend, like, it's like, dude, if they're not breaking up with their girlfriend, you're just a booty call at that point. Yeah. So it's like, I know the thrill can be exciting. The challenge can be exciting. The what ifs can be exciting. But I feel like that's the number one thing to self-sabotage yourself, and just go through like an intense heartbreak, insecurity, like overall.
Loss of time.
Yeah, loss of time. Like, don't put yourself through that, honestly. Like, no.
And if they're emotionally unavailable, if that's what they were talking about, I feel like someone that's emotionally unavailable, yeah, maybe you guys can further along down the road get together. But right now, he's not thinking about being in a relationship, and there's no reason why you should wait for this person until he's ready, because that's you wasting your time. So my best advice would be, you do you. You can still text him, you can still be in communication with him, but as far as you completely saving yourself for this person, I don't think it's worth it, because that's a loss of time that you're never going to get back. What if he's not ready for you until 10 years from now?
What if he's never ready for you at all?
At all. Yeah, what if he finds somebody else down the road that he is emotionally available for? Yeah. Men are just so, they're a very complicated species.
Yeah, but I think we as women sometimes can be like, because sometimes men can be like, I'm not emotionally available for you, but we leech. Like, there's women that just leech, that just, okay, well, you're not, but I still want to be there. But it's like, he's telling you he's not emotionally available for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you being so persistent? Like, don't be that type of female.
And then you get heartbroken whenever he finds somebody, and you're like, oh my God, I waited for you. And they're like, well, I never told you to.
Yeah, I didn't owe you anything. Yeah. And it's true. Like, as much as dick move that is, if they were honest with you about not being emotionally available,
or that they don't want a relationship with right now.
Yeah. No. You're just not the one, honey. As hard as that may sound, you're just not the one.
Yeah, no.
Move on, you know? All right, so how to keep sex interesting after so many years. I don't know how you do it.
Role play.
You do role play. Mm-hmm. Oh, girl, I could not. Yeah. I could not. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it buys me outfits, and we just
like, wait, okay. Like, does he buy you, like, theme-inspired outfits or just, like, lingerie?
It's lingerie, but then also like theme inspired. Like, I have a student one.
Oh, my gosh, so cute. I would not see Eduardo being like this.
Oh, dude, no. Eduardo's...
You like that? Okay, no, I don't need to know how freaking Eduardo.
Eduardo's like that. No, yeah, it's like that. Or like, I mean, like lingerie, or not even lingerie, but it's like the long pieces that have holes. Like,
oh, okay,
like those, just
okay.
It's just stuff like that. And I mean, I feel like you have to experiment. I don't like experimenting with my butt. No. Okay, I can't. I just thinking about it gets me tense. I get in a bad mood. I'm just not there yet. I'll get there one day, but just not. That's his biggest thing right now. It's like he really. I'm like no. But as far as everything else, I feel like it's just role playing. I feel also like it would be like spontaneous. I feel like Like one day if you're just in the kitchen, just fucking have sex in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Have sex on the couch, have sex on the floor, have sex in the car. Like make it spicy, like spontaneous,
yeah.
like just where you're about to go out and you're already ready and then just do it there.
That's why she's an hour late, okay?
Sometimes.
Oh, God. No, but you're right. Like, I think I used to be so uptight about, like, oh, I just got ready. I don't want to have sex. Or, oh, this and that. And then, like, Chris, like, had to have a conversation with me. He's like, you're being really uptight. Like, we are only able to have sex, like, on your terms. Like, not really on your terms, but it has to be at the end of the day or this and that. He's like, you just need to be a little bit more spontaneous. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. You're right. Like, so being more spontaneous. He's like buying like outfits. We don't role play. We don't. I've tried role playing like.
You're like,
stripper.
oh yeah.
I just crack up. I can't. I feel like he can't take me serious. Like, but I do. I am very spontaneous. Like sometimes I'll just like, and it has to come like a natural thing. But sometimes like I'll just really want to suck his dick and I'll suck his dick or like just like that. Like it'll just be. I try to do spontaneous things. He'll buy me like lingerie, and I think it's so fun when your significant other buys you lingerie. So just maybe like ask them to. Maybe they didn't even know that that's an option, but ask them to, and then wear it to dinner. Like don't have sex that day, and then like put it out. He knows you're wearing it to dinner. It'll make dinner so much fun. It'll make the car ride home so much fun. And then when you get home, you're like so ready to have sex.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Build the.
It's like a build up.
Yeah,
like you build up the fucking, what is it called? Like the.
I can't think of the word.
What am I looking for? The sexual tension.
The tension. Build up the tension.
You build up the tension. So doing that, we incorporate toys in our, I mean, that I've incorporated toys.
Yeah, she has a whole closet full of them.
Oh my God. Just kidding. You come into my house and I have
it's a whole wall.
Oh my God. Eventually that's what I want. But just doing that, and then like we do butt stuff, but we don't do anal. And I think that's every dude thing. I don't know what it is about the butthole.
I think it's the fact that they can't.
Yeah.
And they just want to. Like
okay, yes, we've done it, Chris. Thank you for announcing it. We've done it.
What?
We've done it. But it's not a typical thing in our sex life. But
no, it gets me in a bad mood.
It puts you in a bad mood.
It puts me in a bad mood.
I mean, I think I have to be in the right headspace to even like want to, but it's not like it has to be like, hey, we can try it today, and it's like twice a year. But it's not like expectation.
Damn, Chris is lucky.
Chris is lucky.
Twice a year.
Damn, baby. Yeah, good. But yeah, so that's like us. But anyways, like just making things spontaneous, like, cause that was the number one thing I got a lot from you girls is like, how do you keep sex fun? Like,
I feel like girls think also like you have to be in bed all the time, that you have to dress up for him in bed. But no, like if he's watching TV, like guys, I mean, I guess it depends like how their testosterone levels are or whatever they're going through in life. Yeah. But I feel like mostly all of them want sex all the time. So if they're watching TV and your kids are asleep, just go over there and pull down his pants. And he's not going to stop you.
Yeah, he's not going to stop you.
Yeah. So you just do that, and then it just turns into like this very intense, heated sex wherever the fuck you are. It feels good.
And I think like being comfortable with your partner, not being embarrassed. Like,
I think that's number one.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're married or if that's your partner, like that's your partner. You should not be embarrassed around that person. Like, and I think that was a number one thing with me too, because my mom grew up like old-timey, and she would be like like all this, and like she started making me feel like some type of way about my body, so I was a little bit more embarrassed. And then when Chris and I got more comfortable with each other and even like just older, I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, why am I embarrassed of my husband? Like, that's my husband. He can fucking look at me up and down, open up my, like, whatever. Like, because, back in the day, we've talked about it with your mom. She's like,
yeah.
Oh, no, Dios mío, no. Oh, my God, no. I was, like, goofing around with Areli's mom. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, ay, no, que vergüenza. Like, oh, my God, no. I'm like, my mom is the exact same way. And I'm like, oh, no, mom. I'm like, open up legs and say, no. Like, you want to be comfortable with your partner. That's the whole point of being with your partner. So it's like,
and I think also asking them, like, if you're not comfortable with them, you could ask a guy, and I mean, depending on what kind of relationship you have with them, they'll tell you what they would want to do.
Yeah.
And then you just start telling them that you're okay with that, and then He'll buy you, if he doesn't buy you lingerie already, he'll start buying you lingerie because he knows that you're open to it. And maybe your husband or your significant other doesn't know that you're okay with that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Just communication.
Just communication about what you want. And, you know, because I think, you know, for us, like, it's not like, okay, yeah, your husband's not always going to buy you the outfits and stuff, but lingerie is different. I'm sure they'll want to buy you lingerie, but you know, they don't know that that's an option. So it's always about communicating too. But like Areli said, like, yeah, sometimes I'll just walk butt ass naked, and I know, like, no matter what he's doing, he's gonna want to have sex. So it's just being spontaneous, doing things you're not
out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, out of your comfort zone, and you're not really, like, it's not. Don't build a routine that it's like, okay, after the shower, on the bed, like, don't make it like that. And also, big plus, music. I don't know if you guys listen.
I love
music. Honestly, nowadays, unless we're having a quickie, we always put on music. We have, like, a whole playlist.
It builds, like, this, I don't know, like, this, like, I don't know. It just makes it
better. Like, this connection is better. Yeah. Like, it makes the mood. It's all about the mood, right?
Yeah, it does the right setting for it.
You want to.
And sometimes, like, it's also, like, I don't know, like, it goes from you just having sex to, like, making love.
Yeah, it does. Depends. It 100% does. And you want to have music, like, because especially you have your dogs or whatever, like, you don't want to be listening to, like, I don't want to be listening to Hermes snoring and then Chris's breath on me, like, whatever, like, not that it's a bad thing, but it's like, if you have the music, it's just, like, it's a whole vibe, right?
Yeah.
So just setting up the place, like, we have our Alexa right next to our bedroom, or, you know, we'll put the playlist on their phone or whatever, but yeah, just being spontaneous and, you know, setting the mood. And
your husband doesn't always have to do that for you. You know, he doesn't always have to be the one that initiates it, that makes the mood. You can make the mood. I remember when Eduardo would go out of town, he would come into town. I rented a hotel. I would put, like, flower petals. I would set the mood, and I would do that for him. Yeah. Because that's what I like to do that. Like, that's what turns me on, that I want to do things that he likes. Most of the time.
I remember, I think it was last year for Chris's birthday, like, I set it up. And then I even put a butt plug, but we didn't use a butt plug.
You were like, fuck yeah, thank God.
I was like, nah, man. This is just like a little... It's just for you to put a smile on your face. But nothing happened. I was like, nah. All right. Okay. So another one someone asked was, is marriage worth it? Because people are divorcing left and right.
I definitely think that marriage is a choice. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it's for everybody. Because, like I said earlier, you choose you at the end of the day. Like I said, you grow up with your partner. So, I mean, even now I feel like we're growing up. Yeah. I feel like we're still not where we are going to be, or where I don't think that we're developed all the way yet. I think we still have a lot to learn. But I feel like you choose to be with your partner at the end of the day. I think and I don't think that everybody's like that. I think a lot of people are very selfish, and they're not a team. And it's really easy to get lost even when you're married, to stay a team. But it's the choosing them at the end of the day. Like, that's your best friend. That's the person that you know out of the whole world that you wouldn't do what you do for them for anyone else.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, I think people, sometimes it's a hard choice to get a divorce. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's really hard. But I feel like if you stop choosing your partner at the end, that's why. So my biggest advice to people that are going to get married is, are you committing to this person for the rest of your life, by meaning that you're going to choose them when shit gets hard? If they cheat on you, are you going to choose them at the end of the day? Because that's very important. If they make a lifestyle choice that you're not okay with, are you going to choose them at the end of the day? You know, sometimes you both don't want the same things. Like, for me, for example, Eduardo wanted a business and I wanted a house. But I sacrificed me wanting to get a house so we can start up the business that he's always wanted. And sometimes it gets really hard to choose that at the end of the day, to choose and support him every single time. I mean, we were just talking about this the other day with you guys. But it's a choice that I'm okay with making at the end because I know it makes him happy. And sometimes I have to get reminded, but I don't get the easy way out. I don't try to say, oh, you know what, like, I'm done. I'm just gonna leave because I can't put up with this anymore. Right.
No, but I think you're right. I think marriage isn't for everyone. No. I will say that. I don't think it's for everyone. Marriage is not easy. I will say that if you are anyone who's single and thinking about marriage, the number one thing I could say that people do or make a mistake is they get married without fully knowing their partner. Like, there are so many people who do not know how to communicate with their partner, who literally do not know who they're marrying. They think they know who they're marrying, but have no fucking clue.
Or they have this false image of who they're marrying because that's who they want their partner to be, but their partner's not like that.
Exactly. So it's like, you want to make sure that that person that you're going to marry or be with, you know who the fuck they are. You know, thankfully, you know, we grew up with our person. So even though that's a very hard thing to do because we could have easily grown apart, we chose to grow together. And so we have taken all these years to grow together and to get to know each other. It is very different if I was single now and find a man now to get to know them. To get to know their deepest self is going to be very hard. But I think that's what the issue is, that a lot of people don't take the time, ask the right questions, really look at the ugly parts. Like, look at the ugly parts of the other person, be like, do I want...
Make the time to get to know them.
Do I want these... Am I going to be okay with these ugly parts about this person? Because it is not always rainbows and sunshines. No. And I will say this. I know there's so many couples divorcing. I actually just had a therapy session about this because I've been married for 11 years. No, I've been together for 12 years. Sorry. I've been married for 7 years. Yes, 7 years. Chris is looking at me like, and marriage has been hard this year in the sense of what's been around me. And I was talking about this with my therapist because I'm like, everywhere I go and everything I see is couples being unfaithful to each other.
In movies.
In shows, and everything. And I literally it was literally last month, I broke down crying to my therapist because I'm like, what is happening? Like, I almost feel like marriage isn't a thing. Like, I'm waiting, like, is it going to end at some point? Like, what is happening? And she's like, first of all, who are you surrounding yourself with? And thankfully, I am surrounded with Areli and Eddie. You know, they have a strong marriage. I have other friends in strong relationships, but outside of my close circle, everyone else is constantly cheating, or I know that they cheated or whatever. So it's like, it makes me question everything because it makes you question loyalty. And so, you know, then I was watching these shows and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, everyone's cheating on everyone. Like, it makes
Adam Levine scandal.
Yeah, it makes it seem like it's okay to cheat nowadays, right? And it's okay, right? It's okay that everyone's gonna cheat at some point, and it's okay. And my therapist was like, no, you need to, like, when you start seeing shit like that, turn off the TV, change the channel, do whatever. Because what you're surrounding yourself with and what you're watching and what you're listening to is going to affect your thoughts. And it's going to affect the way that you feel. What do you value? And I was like, that's why I told you guys last week on the episode that we talked about. Values are so important. What do you value? And I was like, well, I value Chris and I value my marriage. Exactly. That's all the thing that you have to care about, is that you value your marriage and you value Chris. Everything else, all the outside noise, fuck it. If there's something that you're watching that it's not based on your fucking value, don't watch it. And I was like, no, you're right. Because everything that we're looking at right now is questioning what we value and what we think. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying like you have to be like, oh, well, that person doesn't think doesn't think the same way that I think, so fuck that person. No, it just means that you're not going to take that route. That's not the route that you want. Doesn't mean that, you know, you're judging them in any way or whatever, but it's not what you want. But it is very easy to be like, oh, fuck, well, marriages nowadays don't last. And, you know, like, what's the point of marriage? Because no one is faithful. And, you know, social media makes it every time 10 times harder on everyone, right? Because there is so much out there. There's so much. And like what you said, your wife, your significant other is 80%, but there's still that 20%, right? Mm-hmm. There's still something missing. And the first thing that comes up is lust, right? You build in this, it could be texting, it could be in person, you get this lust, or you start getting these feelings that you haven't felt in a long time, especially if you're with someone for such a long time. And it's easy to fall into that, right? It's easy to be like, well, let me give in, right? But the important thing is that you take a step back and be like, no, I'm not going to give into that. It's normal to feel that way. And it's normal. We're humans, okay? We're going to feel feelings for other people, and it's okay. And like I talked about last week on the episode, not one person is going to be all for you. Like, they can't be all for you. That's why you have friends. And sometimes you'll have, if you're a female, it's okay to have male friends as long as you don't cross that line. But I will say this, marriage is not the easiest, but it's been the best thing for me. I love it. I love that I'm married to my best friend. I love that, we both have taken the time to work on ourselves and on a relationship. And like, it's, at the end of the day, we choose each other. I would not do anything or let shit slide like I do with Chris, Yeah. And I don't even let shit slide, but like,
you wouldn't put up with half the shit.
Yeah, because I love him and I choose him and I want him. And thankfully, it's not like we don't have like crazy shit that I have to deal with, right? Yeah. But like, we both get our moods, and he's very complete opposite than I am, so sometimes it can be hard in our relationship, but I choose him at the end of the day, right? Yeah. So don't think that, it might not be for you, and that's okay. It's okay if marriage isn't for you, but don't let society make you believe that you can't be faithful or your partner can't be faithful to you, because that is not the case.
And I also feel like, don't let society make you think that there's divorce rates that are really high. I mean, yes, but you also have to think about, were they married for a long time? Where was, there's different scenarios that happen. I feel like there is a lot of strong marriages out there. I feel like marriage is still something that you could achieve with the right person. Yeah. But like you said, try to really get to know them. Yeah. And ask the hard questions while you're dating. Even right now, if you've been dating somebody for 7 years and he still hasn't popped the question, ask the hard questions before you say yes. Because after that, it gets hard, because then marriage is something that you're like, oh, I'm married now.
Yeah. And this leads me to the next question, because apparently a lot of you girls were asking. And I think this is a question that everyone wants an answer to. And they want different people's opinions, but you're the only one that's going through it. So no one can really help you, and it's cheating. Is cheating okay? Would you forgive your significant other if they cheated? Oof. And I know you want an answer. I know, like, you're like, well, so-and-so, like, my man cheated on me. Do you think he'll do it again? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I truly believe there's a therapist. Her name is Esther Perel. If you're going through cheating, look her up. Okay? She states that cheating isn't black and white, which I agree. I don't think there's one way of cheating. There's multiple ways of cheating. There's multiple scenarios of cheating. There's cheating where, is emotional. There's cheating where you guys weren't even fucking talking to each other for months. Not that that's an excuse, but you weren't prioritizing your partner. He wasn't prioritizing you. He fucked up or you fucked up, and then the relationship can be saved. There's a lot of different scenarios. And I know it's quick to be like, nah, fuck him or fuck her. I would never forgive it. But when you're in the relationship, when you're in it, it's different. I don't know how you feel. I mean, I know it's the best thing to say is, nah, fuck him, I would divorce him, right? And that's what we would think we would do. Yeah. But I think personally, it would all depend on the scenario, on what exactly happened in the cheating. Because I do think everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fucking makes mistakes.
Like you said earlier, nobody's perfect.
No one's perfect. But I do think that there's a lot that goes into cheating, and it all depends on what you're willing. Can you move past it? Because if you can't move past it, then it doesn't matter what the fuck anyone else thinks. If you can't move past someone cheating on you emotionally through a text or whatever, then you just need to leave that person, because your relationship will never get stronger. The question you have to ask yourself is, can I move past this? And do I really think that my partner is being genuine when they're saying it will never happen again? Because like I said, I think there's different scenarios.
Yeah, and I think it also goes down to how well do you know your partner? Yeah. It goes back to that. If he cheated on you once, how well do you know him? Do you have the confidence that he's not going to do it again? And if you do, then I think depending on where you're at with your relationship, if you still want to be with this person, then yes, forgive this person, because you know that they're not going to do it again. Now, if you think that they're going to do it again, then it's really a decision that you have to make, which goes back all the way to when we were talking about with this person. Sit down and see how this relationship makes you better and how it doesn't, and see if you want to be with this person. And don't think about it, because I think sometimes also what gets in a lot of people's head is like an ego thing. Like, oh my God, they cheated on me. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh, I told myself I would never forgive them. Or like how is
the first thing you do is think about yourself.
Yeah. And then you compare, and then you're just like, how is this person? And then you start like thinking, how is this person better than me? Like, what does he like about her that I don't have? And then you just start going down into this deep hole where you start comparing yourself to this person, and then you can't get out. So if you are going through something like that, then you need to separate, not break up, not divorce, but separate, give each other space, and then, you know, reflect on everything that's happened. And if you think that you can still choose him, which goes back to the marriage, what we're talking about, if you think that you can still choose him every day, then do that. And if you need time to get over it, then give them that space for them to get over it, because you're gonna come back to them, but they also need to have the confidence that you're gonna come back to them.
Right. And I think like there's so many scenario guys. Like there's like, you know, he like was having a whole different affair. That's a whole different cheating. And like I'm just saying he, right? It's a whole different thing. Like if your significant other has been cheating on you with this person for a year, that's different than your significant other got drunk at a bar and fucked a girl one night. That's two different type of cheating. So that's what I'm saying. Like cheating is not black and white. There's not one. I'm not saying cheating is okay, but there's not just one way of cheating. So it's like you have to ask yourself what you're willing to, you know, I guess not even I hate to say put up with, but what you can get over. Can I forgive this person and move on and be
like
better?
Truly forgive?
Truly, can I still trust them?
Where you can't, like where you know that you're not going to throw, like you're truly going to get past this. It's not going to get brought up again. It's not going to get thrown in your face, because you're truly getting past it. And honestly, I feel like also if you choose to forgive someone, I think it just makes you stronger. I really do. I feel like this is something that it doesn't happen in every marriage. It is probably one of the number one reasons for why people get divorced. But I feel like if you're able to get past cheating, I feel like you're unbreakable past that.
And I will say this, because I actually heard this from someone recently. You and your significant other aren't the same person, okay? And that's something that like I've had to understand. So what you put up with and what they put up with might be completely different. So you have to fucking make sure in your heart that if you are going to put up with something, you don't think that if you were to do it, they would put up with it too. Because let's say you cheat, right? And they put up with it. They might cheat and you not put up with it, or vice versa. They cheated and you put up with it. You went through hell and back for them, but you're like, you know what? I would never forgive you. Like, you have to make sure that what you're choosing is what you truly want in your heart, not based on what you think the other person would do. Because I think a lot of the situation, like I actually did see someone say this on TikTok that was like, oh, my boyfriend cheated on me a while ago. He just came forward. What should I do? And someone was like, well, just tell him that you did the same and see what his answer would be. I mean, and that's kind of a toxic trait. Yeah, like...
But it's a good one.
But it's a good one. You can see, like, okay, is he going to forgive me or is he not going to forgive me? Because just because you forgave that person doesn't mean that that person would forgive you. Because I know a lot of people who are like, nah, she put up with a lot of my shit, but I would never put up with that shit.
That's
and it's
how
like,
I have family like that.
You don't want to be like that either.
No.
That's something that you have to communicate with your significant other too. So just make sure that the decisions that you choose are what you would want, what you truly want, and not based on what you think the other person would choose.
And I feel like after you forgive somebody, you know, there's always going to be that question, oh my God, is he going to do it again? But that's why you have to be really, really certain within yourself that you forgive this person. You can't, I think another thing for females also, it's really hard that you think that you can control everything and you can't.
You can.
So if you're really thinking, is my significant other going to cheat on me again? That's something that you really have, once the cheating starts, it's something that you really have to take into perspective. Like, you can't control him. He might do it again. He might not do it again. But it's up to you if you're going to want to be with that person and go through the roller coaster again, if you feel like you're brave enough to do that. And if you do, then I feel like, you know, forgiveness is where you need to go. But you can't control him. If he's going to do it again, then you're going to have to go into that thinking that he's going, like, that he might do it again.
Good. Yeah.
But you can't, you know, like you said, there's no certainty, but it's 50-50 chance.
Yeah. You have to be okay with your decision.
Yeah, you have to be 100%. And another thing is, I don't think that you should throw it in their face.
No, you can't. No. That's the thing with cheating. Like, if you're gonna forgive, you can't. If you want to forgive and you want your relationship to work, the past is. I think that a lot of people, they still go back to the past and they go back to the past and they go back to the past
because they were never okay with their decision in the beginning. They went in like 50-30.
Yeah.
Like that they forgive them and then they didn't.
No, you can't throw that shit back in their face. If you truly forgive someone, you can't throw shit back in their face. Because your relationship will never get forward. You'll never move forward.
No, you'll be stuck in the same thing. You'll remind him about what he did. You'll go through the trauma every single time you bring it up.
Yeah.
So why do that?
Yeah. All right, guys. I know that was a deep one, but okay, last one. It'll be a fun one. All right. What are ladies doing in regards to pubic hair right now? I'm all clean, okay? I get lasered. You're like, I've seen you and everything. I am completely clean. I am doing my second round of, I did laser 2 years ago and I'm doing it again, but now I'm doing it full body. So I like to be clean. Chris prefers clean. Everyone has a preference, right? Like dudes, to be honest, like I'm married. If Chris was like, I like a strip, then I would leave a strip for him. Like at the end of the day, he's the one that's down there most of the time. I'm just wiping my vagina when I pee. But he likes it clean, so I keep it clean, and I always keep it clean just because now with like OnlyFans and stuff like that, my kitty cat's always clean.
Según.
What about yours?
Well, I used to wax before I had Mia.
Oh yeah, you used to fucking wax. Hell no, that shit. Oh,
it's just God. One. Look, okay, waxing has a lot of negatives, but it's just one part that's like super sensitive.
Nah.
I just bite my shirt and then I just do it. Like they just do it. But I mean, I really did like to get a wax. I mean, I obviously felt more clean.
Yeah.
But now with Mia and me having to go and do all that shit, like on top of my everyday stresses, I don't want to fucking stress about going to go get waxed. So I just shave.
You just shave. Yeah.
I just shave. And it's annoying, but I don't let it grow out past the point where it's too freaking long. And then it's just freaking hard. No, like I wax like I think once a week.
You shave?
I shave.
Yeah.
Not wax, sorry.
Yeah. Once a week.
I shave.
Yeah, no, I just have too thick. My hair is like,
no, your hair is
laser has helped so much. Because I mean, I still have to shave, girls, but it's like my hair is so much thinner now than before.
Chris used to go down there and he would come up with a bunch of scratches.
God, no, it was a fat thing. Jesus. Oh my God.
He was bleeding.
I can't with you right now. Oh my God. No, but I used to get a lot of like razor burn and I fucking hated that. It was always itchy. So laser has really, dude, I know everyone's like, oh, laser hurts so bad. You go every fucking 6 weeks. It's a little bit of pain for a lifetime of results, and it's worth it if you have really thick hair. I'm just going to say that. It's so worth it if you have thick hair. You don't have to wax. You just shave and it's very thin. But yeah, that's what, I mean, do you. Like, I think every girl's different, and depending, I mean, wouldn't diss a girl because she doesn't shave or she,
I mean, you can't even tell half of the time.
Yeah, I'm like, do whatever you want. I mean, there's not, I don't think vagina hair is something that comes in, like, there's not a trend for that. Like, no. Oh, right now, it's
a diamond.
It's adding little beads to it. Little leaky that's like Mia's hair. Oh, there's no trends in vagina hair, okay? Just, every female just does what they want, okay? So
you just have your preference.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me today. And this girl talk. I hope you girls enjoyed it. We got some deep, good personal stuff in there for you girls. So don't judge us.
Please.
And as I've always mentioned, it takes a lot of guts to be my guest. So don't be... most of you girls are always so nice, but...
I'm emotional. I'm an emotional person.
No, don't be like, Areli shouldn't have said this, okay?
And if you're my sister-in-law, I'm sorry.
Or
my family.
Or your family, or anyone from the gym. Please don't come up to us.
I'm sorry.
I forgot about girls in the gym. Or guys in the gym.
Sorry.
I think Rico listens to this one.
Do you think so? Holy shit, I'm sorry, Rico. TMI.
Oh gosh. Okay, girls, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
I'm not gonna keep it